They say violence is not the answer. Tell that to Aaron Donald.
Being here talking about practice.
As for NFL fans, it's not. So we turn to the alternative, talking major shit. And you don't bring a neck to a knife fight, you bring shit-talking grenades. It's time to get angry, the right way. Triggering all 32 NFL Fanbases 2022 edition with a surprise guest is coming up right after this. Yes, it's that magical time of the year again. All hail the glory that is NFL football. And you know what football means. It's time to make that cheddar. DraftKings Sportsbook is helping you kick off this magnificent season by letting first-time customers instantly turn $5 into $200 in free bets. Plus, with same-game parlays, you can combine your bets and multiply your winnings. What's this? Sports betting isn't available in your state? No worries, DraftKings has daily fantasy leagues where you can use your noggin to win some cash. I personally have used DraftKings for a long time, and your money is both safe and easy to withdraw. And I killed it last year in the NFL. Pro tip, bet small, know your limits. Download the DraftKings Sports app now, and new customers use promo code 5points spelled out and receive $200 in free bets instantly when placing a $5 wager. Again, download the DraftKings app from the link below and use promo code 5points for $200 in free bets. Now, there is criteria here. Remember, the things being said are meant to anger you. They don't always have to be true. Though, sometimes the truth really hurts. Let's freaking go. Jags fan, welcome to the pain. Urban Meyer. That's all I need to say. Your team hired Urban Meyer. You know all about him and how Schott and Tony Khan don't give a fuck about your team. But what pisses you off the most is that you dressed in clown suits and protest only to have the team bring back a name more triggering than Herb himself. Trent Baalke. Trevor Lawrence might die before he has a line in front of him. And thanks for outfitting the rest of the league with all your good players. Your midget QB had an offseason where he unfollowed everyone, including the team mascot, only to whine his way into a heavily loaded deal for a guy who hasn't won a single playoff game. The deal also had to put in writing that Kyler needed to do his homework before he got extra time on his Xbox. Your coach may look good in a long sleeve shirt, but does he look good in the second half of the season? Yeah, about as good as this pass. After the retirement of Andrew Luck, you guys became the used car lot of QBs, trotting out 3 retreads who couldn't or won't get it done.
Phil Rivers couldn't move.
Nope.
Phil Rivers couldn't move the ball. He couldn't literally move at all. He literally just stood there.
It would have worked out with Wentz had you not lost to Jacksonville on the last day of the season last year. You lost to Jacksonville with a playoff spot on the line.
What the fuck happened?
How Chris Ballard's security card still lets him in the building is amazing, but that's probably because Jim Irsay is too high to care or even knows Chris Ballard is his GM. Not surprised you fired Flores after having a winning record. Your skinflint owner seems allergic to winning. And by allergic, I mean he was literally accused by Flores of openly tanking. Come on, Steven, we don't say the quiet part out loud. But none of that is more triggering than just bringing up Tua Tagovailoa's name. Dolphins fans will fight among themselves harder over this man than anything I will ever say. He is kind of glass, though. Derrick Henry isn't actually good, he just gets a lot of carries. I don't know what is getting staler, your stadium or Ryan Tannehill's act in the playoffs. You went from surprising everyone to disappointing everyone in the span of 3 years. I bet Mike Vrabel would cut off his penis to get Ryan to stop throwing balls like this. Just wait until you pin your hopes on Malik Willis, and he is ass too. For this next one, I'm going to turn it over to the troop supporting, premarital sex hating, non-marijuana's taking Barry McCockiner.
95% of quote-unquote Bucks fans are just Brady fans who migrated from New England when Brady left there in 2019. The entire Brady era in Tampa is fake, and once he finally decides to actually retire, be it from boredom or finally completing his transformation into a Team America puppet, everybody will go back to forgetting about the Bucks. It's incredible how insecure Brady fans remain, despite his resume being untouchable and the fact that he's considered the GOAT by 99.9% of people, which which, yes, now includes me. But despite me conceding Brady is the GOAT on the field, nothing will ever make me respect Brady fans. You can't handle somebody not liking your favorite mega-rich athlete who, by the way, wouldn't even piss on you if you were on fire in front of him. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm not a fan of a guy who took government loans to buy a yacht during a global pandemic and does business with a snake oil salesman who used to steal money from terminally ill people. The sport will be leaps and bounds better the moment you shit stains go away along with plastic surgery, man.
Thanks, Barry. He has a YouTube channel, yes, he does, that you can subscribe to after this vid. So many things to trigger a Texans fan. David Culley punting after declining a penalty? Oh, you cut JJ Watt? Like, how? And you traded DeAndre Hopkins for peanuts. Deshaun Watson didn't even want to play for you before the allegations. Your team is run by a youth pastor who only wants to sign character guys like Rex Burkhead. You wanted to hire Josh McCown, who had no experience, but instead hired Lovie Smith so that it didn't look racist. And this isn't the worst of it. Bill O'Brien. Yeah, that's it. I don't have to tell you how much Bill O'Brien sucks. The worst part about him is that he was the best head coach and GM you've ever had. Fuck, that hurts. Boy, that Sam Darnold experiment worked out about as well as giving Christian McCaffrey a second deal. Speaking of bad moves, Matt Rule is somehow still your head coach. And to think the team forked over a king's ransom to keep him from going to the Giants? That's as sad as Cam's second stint in Carolina. Good luck with Baker, but I wonder how long until you see why he was ousted in Cleveland. Won't take long. You know what's worse than seeing Jackson Mahomes and Patty's wife post anything on Twitter or social media? Absolutely nothing. Okay, I can come up with something worse. How about blowing a 20-3 lead to the Bengals, a game which you sacked Joe Burrow a Brazilian times and still lost? And Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on his steak. That doesn't trigger me, but I bet it does to you. You hired Kyle Shanahan. Didn't you know about 28-3 or you just ignore it? Now you have 20-10. What about the QB that started that game? He led you to a Super Bowl, beat the Packers in Green Bay, and now is the highest paid backup in the league? Make your mind up about this dude. And Trey Lance, you'll be begging for Jimmy G by week 6. Oh, and never forget, you hired Chip Kelly. Okay, this big bunch of California douchebags won the Super Bowl, but that doesn't erase getting your asses kicked in the worst Super Bowl of all time. Your offense looked like constipation. It was worse than Iowa football. What about Chef Ramsay slapping his own teammate? Your Super Bowl comes with an asterisk anyway, since apparently the cap means nothing. Oh yeah, I guess you were gonna steal the draft this year with no first or second round picks. Douches. Ah, Lions fans. The only source of joy for the past 50 years was watching your old QB win a Super Bowl like y'all won it. I can't wait until they raise the Matthew Stafford banner and hand everyone in the front office Matthew Stafford rings. Dan Campbell is likable, but y'all still suck. Remember, you started 0-11 last year, and the highlight of the season was Jared Goff's girlfriend finding out you won your first game. America's favorite holiday tradition is now watching the Lions lose on Thanksgiving. Oh, and I know how to piss you off. Sheila Ford Hamp. And of course, this field goal. What are the odds? If watching Josh Norman get stiff-armed into the shadow realm wasn't enough, you guys unleashed the most painful 13 seconds the world has ever seen. Seriously, you didn't think there was enough time, but somehow there still was. Now you're gonna cart poor Josh Allen out there until he looks like this with no rings. At least you have an Applebee's in town.
Spent a lot of time trying to figure out which one I like more, the ambiance or the decor.
Zach Wilson doing a full-on sprint to bang a teammate's mom isn't nearly as bad as how he's gonna play this year. I'm sorry, but Mekhi Becton is looking like a bust already. Come on, can y'all keep him healthy? How about ruining your glorious tank and losing out on Trevor Lawrence thinking the mom banger was better? At least Greg Williams understood the assignment, and your name is forever the butt fumble. Lamar Jackson is a running back. Oh, you're mad? How about his record in the playoffs? Lamar moved his bowels more during a game than he did the ball against the Bills. And if that doesn't trigger you, Terrell Suggs in a Cardinals uniform will. Bring up the name Kirk Cousins to a Vikings fan and don't say a word. And y'all already doing this.
Right? And what was her sister? A princess! The Wicked Witch of the East, bro!
Just arguing for no reason. Except dude is so mid you could just call him Zendaya. Wow, Zendaya catching strays. I'm sorry. You've hosted more Super Bowls than you've won. I was gonna let your blood pressure come down, but then I had to bring up Mike Zimmer. A winner in life, just not on the football field. And here's the kicker. Your kickers.
It is good! No, it's no good.
What the fuck is your quarterback doing? Drew Brees retired and left y'all like a herd of sheep without a border collie. Oh, what's Michael Thomas up to these days? Rehabbing his injuries to run better slants? Crying on Twitter? Oh, and Taysom Hill was worth all that money to find out he can't throw a fucking football. Just what the hell was last season? John Gruden fired for being a racist POS, Henry Ruggs for being an actual POS, and Damon Arnett for being an even bigger POS. Oh, you hired Josh McDaniels? Just wait until he leaves you drier than Lake Mead. When it happens, we'll all say we told you so. Alex Leatherwood really panned out, eh? And never forget, if John Gruden didn't understand that emails were forever, he'd still be your coach for the next 7 years. You missed the playoffs because you couldn't tie the Raiders. So you got rid of Anthony Lynn, maybe one of the most frustrating coaches on earth, for your analytical genius, Brandon Staley, who finished just 2 wins better than Anthony Lynn. Oh, and it seems so prudent just to go for it on 4th when data genius says to, until you mess up and don't get it, and don't make the playoffs. It's cool, there aren't any real Charger fans to trigger anyways. They all live in San Diego and fucking hate your ass. Jalen Hurts is not that dude. Sorry, stand him all you want. He got benched for Tua in college. Tua Tagovailoa. Speaking of Jalen's, he may be gone, but just the thought of Jalen Reagor trying to field a basic punt has got to have you angry. I'm amazed Howie Roseman still has his job. You're gonna keep Doug Peterson until he openly tanked on the last day of the season in 2020. What a fucking joke. Go eat some horse shit. Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy. Oh, did I mention Matt Nagy? Allen Robinson, Roquan Smith, Khalil Mack, and Justin Fields about to die. That whole Eli Apple thing really worked out well. Until it didn't. Not a trigger, but what the fuck is your announcer talking about?
You have to like when there's a guy coming right in your face and he just sits in there and delivers it.
That's kind of funny. Still have no rings. Joe Burrow got hit so many times last year, he has PTSD. Broncos country.
Let's ride.
My God, there's only one person who loves corn more than Dangerous, and it's this kid. I really think they should have brought Pat Shurmur back to call plays. Sucks he got fired, but the scars are real. He was worse than the QB carousel before Russell Wilson. And let's face it, Elway's only talent is stealing QBs, not drafting them. Oh boy, the New York Giants stumbling into another clown show of a season. Joe Judge was so fucking stupid, he challenged a scoring play, then said people wanted to come play for him so that they could run back-to-back sneaks. Surprised that last one didn't come on 4th down. Daniel Jones is so not the guy. They didn't pick up his option, and they are carting him out there this year because they ironically don't have any options. I'm surprised they didn't fumble that situation. Saquon is leaving, having had his career wasted in New York. Thank God Evan Ingram is gone, but we'll make up for it with Darius Slayton. And now, to anger every Giants fan on earth, I only have to say one name. Dave fucking Gettleman and Kenny Golladay. I'm sure you all felt like this when Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson left. Now your defense is trash while your QB room literally has Drew Lock in it. And y'all got roasted on Twitter. This cringe graphic ought to trigger you. And imagine after losing the Legion of Boom and Corny Russ, you spent all that draft capital on Blitz Boy.
I'm the best in the nation.
He was gonna hit it right in the head.
Mac Jones trying to get in shape and looking like current Tom Brady is pretty funny. He looks like a divorced dad. Belichick is great and all, but what happens to his man titties when he retires? His lapdogs certainly have proven they can't take over. Speaking of lapdogs, you employ both Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. My, have the turntables flipped. You used to beat up on the Bills, now you are their bitch. Oh wait, did Aaron Rodgers' chakras not align in order for them to actually go for it on 4th down? That play call was more neutered than a rescue puppy. It was so egregious even Jeopardy contestants roasted it.
Who wanted to kick that field goal?
Who's Aaron gonna throw to now that Devontae Adams is gone? Jake from State Farm? Man, if Rodgers ends his career with only 1 ring, why, that would be more awkward than his appearances on podcasts.
People say, oh, well, immunization, vaccination.
Yeah, I did. I said that a lot.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
But
how many people do you think you killed?
After all that, you just let Matt Ryan go. That ought to trigger you. Wait, you did the same thing to Julio Jones. Okay, we know about 28-3, but what about all these other blown leads? If you think you're gonna have a good year, just remember Marcus Mariota is your starting QB. High-end talent. Let's all whitewash Big Ben's past so we can forget all the asshole things he did. Oh look, here's Chase Claypool celebrating a 1st down while the game clock expires. What the fuck is George Pickens doing? He's kind of a beast though, but like, weird. You backed into the playoffs last year with the corpse of Captain Fatfuck, only to try and resurrect the career of Mitch Kissin' Titties. Good luck with that. You need a massive rebuild, but 8 to 9 wins will be good enough. Forever. And never forget the absolute thrashing by your bullying victim, the Browns, in the playoffs. Oh dear God, Cleveland, what have you done? The amount of disrespect you showed Baker Mayfield on the way out wasn't nearly as bad as who you signed to replace him. Oh, and Cleveland fan, you better hope Watson wins you a lot of games because your soul's gotta be worth it. The amount of mental gymnastics I've seen to justify Watson being there has been just as appalling as this asshole fan's sign. Poor kid, but look what the owner has to say. Let's not ignore the facts.
And you could say, well, that's because he's a star quarterback. Well, of course, but if he was Joe Smith, he wouldn't be on the headlines every day.
Remember, if it doesn't work out with Watson, his contract is the largest fully guaranteed dollar amount in NFL history. Your playoff record since the 90s is as appalling as Mike McCarthy's time management. Everyone hates you, even the weatherman.
It's looking a little bit like those Dallas Cowboys is peaking in the 90s.
Every year, it's your year. Every year you find some way to fuck it up. But yes, you are realistic. Trayvon Diggs had all those picks, but was brutalized in coverage like this cart barreling through your employees. And let us never forget the sweet, sweet ending to last year's season. And finally, we end with the Commanders. The only reason they are last on this list because the name is somehow less generic than football team, and I almost forgot about them. Dan Snyder hiding on his yacht is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. And when he does make it to the stadium, he's too busy fucking up Sean Taylor's memorial and letting Jackson Mahomes dance on Taylor's number. Seriously? You couldn't use that money that you skimmed from the other owners to put it together a decent event? Or fix up your absolute trash heap of a stadium? And we hadn't even gotten to the on-field product. You think Carson Wentz is gonna fix this shit pile?
Philly didn't want you. Indy didn't want you. Do you think this is your last chance to prove that you can be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
But now, I'll just end with this.
Washington, new kicker today. Chris blew it. And yeah, well, you saw it right there.
Well, I hope you appreciate this video. Don't forget to check out Barry McCockener's channel. And if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.